Welcome back to Wives on the Island, episode 4. I can't believe we're at 4. We did 4 episodes of our last launch of our podcast, so this is like the milestone. So this is like where we left off. So number 5 is going to be the big one. Okay. But I'm Alyssa.
And I'm Jessica. And today we're going to talk about perimenopause. We had got one submission for wife wisdom, so I'm super excited to talk to you about that. Then, of course, we're going to do our Love on the Spectrum recap, because I think you finished it. Is it not Love on the Spectrum?
No, it is, but you always forget. You're like...
Because it throws them off. But because you finally finished it. And so now I feel like we could talk about it. I'm super excited about that. And then we'll go over our 2 pop culture things for this week.
Cool.
So let's catch up. I mean, we haven't talked in a while. So how was your weekend?
Yeah. Honestly, it was good. Easter was really nice. My mother-in-law was here, so it was nice to spend Easter with family, because usually you're by yourself, you know. But other than that, we haven't done much, which has been nice. Just like a chill week and all of that. I'll tell you though, I've been sleeping so well because I've been mouth taping. I've been mouth taping for a while, but I haven't been going to sleep early. But last night I went to sleep earlier than normal and I mouth taped, and I got a good rest. You know what I mean? Like I got a good amount of hours in and just like nostril breathing.
I really need to try mouth taping. I saw, I know you sent me the snap with what your mouth tape looked like, and I was like, I need to get some because I'm a mouth breather, and you know, I have a little double chin, and I know that it's supposed to like snatch the jawline. So I'm going to try it. I'm going to have to order some mouth tape so that I could stop being a mouth breather.
I have been mouth taping probably since around December, because I went to Mexico in January, and all of my friends that I was going with, like, they don't have kids and they're all like super skinny. So I was like, if we're going to be in pictures, at least let me like make sure my jaw is good. So I was mouth taping and gua shaing, like, and I feel like I've definitely lost some weight in the process, but like, so I don't know if it's like a combo of the losing weight and the gua shaing and the mouth taping. I don't really know what's the real factor here, but I'm not going to stop with the gua shaing and mouth taping. I'm going to keep doing that. So I'm
going to have to try. I'll let you know.
I'll send you the link.
I'll let you know when I start, and then we could do like before and afters, see if it works.
Yeah, I should have done that for sure. How was your Easter?
It was good. It was quiet because my daughter is going to graduate. We have been just doing like little house touch-ups here and there. And so we got like one of our walls painted because we had a picture up, and we replaced the picture with a new picture, and it took the paint off the wall when we took the picture off the wall. And then we tried to paint it, but I got the wrong color paint because they looked exactly the same. But then when we put it on the wall and it dried, it was definitely a different color paint. So we had professionals come and fix the wall for us. So that was like our weekend. And then on Sunday we had to get our house back together because, you know, like when they fix the wall, they sand, so there was like dust all over the place. And then, you know, so we spent pretty much all Sunday morning just kind of like cleaning up after that. And then we made reservations to go out to eat for dinner. We were gonna take the kids and just go to P.F. Chang's for dinner. And I was like, okay girls, let's get ready, we're gonna go out. And they were like, my oldest was like, I oiled my hair and it has to sit for 24 hours and I don't want to have to go out and then wet it again. And, you know, and then my youngest one was like, well, if she's not going, I'm not going. So they had leftover pasta and we went out for Easter dinner. I was like, you guys are passing up going out to eat. I mean, I know P.F. Chang's isn't anything like super special, but it's a good place to go. And it's, you know, you're not in the house, but yeah.
I would have came with you guys. I love P.F. Chang's. I don't think I've had P.F. Chang's in years. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, my husband really likes to go. I'm not a big fan, but they have they have a good happy hour special. So I usually just get like a margarita, and then we just like we get 2 entrees, and you know, and then we share, and so it's nice, but. You know, now that the kids are older, we go out a lot, and they always get mad at us because we do like date nights, and they're like, you never invite us. And then when we invited them, I was like, they're like, nah, I'd rather stay home. I said, okay, I'm not complaining.
I think I've only been to P.F. Chang's once since we've been in Georgia, and then the first time that I went was actually on the night of my 21st birthday. Like before we went out, I went with my best friend, her boyfriend at the time, and my husband. And, well, he was my boyfriend, maybe my fiance, boyfriend. And then that night I threw up and it was P.F. Chang's.
I feel
So that's
like
my
when you
P.F.
get
Chang's
sick,
like memory.
yeah, I feel like when you get sick, even if it's not the restaurant that made you sick, you don't forget it, and you're like, like remember we went to that, we had the retirement party at work, and we went
Oh,
and
Saffron.
I drank quite a bit because they weren't feeding us, and I just kept drinking. I threw up the next morning. I will never go back to that restaurant, and it wasn't their fault, but I just drank a little too much, and I was like, nope.
I I did go back to that restaurant actually with my
Did
husband
you?
one time. Yeah. It wasn't as good as I remember, to be honest.
I don't think it was that good. I think it was because we had been drinking, and
Yeah.
remember it took them forever to bring out the food, so they just
Yeah,
kept
we were just like
refilling our
eating
drinks.
pita. And the
Yeah,
pita, that's like all we had was like hummus and pita. And we were like, we need food, real food.
yeah. So
Yeah.
I was done. Yep, I haven't gone back since.
On Easter, though, I did run a 5K because I was like, I have my Zoo Atlanta 5K this weekend. And I was like, I need to really get my ass in gear here because like I'm, I have not ran a 5K yet and it's a little risky, but I felt really good and I did it in 40 minutes and like change. So it was really good. And I was really proud of myself, but I'm really hoping I could do it again on Saturday because now it's my time of the month and I'm not feeling so great. So I'm just like hoping that that doesn't affect it because I really want to like do well and, just, I mean, I take it as like an achievement that I did the 40 minutes this past Sunday.
Right.
But I would like to do it. Like I would like to see my time when you get your little like portfolio of like how you did and everything. I like listen, I know I'm not coming like top of my like age, what do they call it? What's the
Like your
appropriate?
little age range and how you have the different
Yeah.
times for each and you, top three for each age range. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going to come in top of anything there, but I just wanted to do like you said in our like first episode, you're only running against yourself. So
Yeah,
that's
so
what I'm
you just
doing.
really have to do better than what you did last year when you did the run.
I think which is 42 or 43. I don't
So there
remember. I
you
gotta
go.
look.
If you do 40, then hey, you've done better.
I've done even if I do 41.
Yeah. So
So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And that's what I'm doing this weekend. And it's my mother-in-law's birthday. So we're going to go on the boat. And I'm very excited about that because I need to get a little tan. Even though I'm pretty tan right now.
you are.
Yeah.
That's fun. I don't think I'm doing anything exciting this weekend. Probably just prepping for the 5K next week. So that's
Yes,
it.
I'm so excited for that one.
Let's talk about perimenopause. I know that I would say I'm substantially older than you. And I know that this is not an issue that you have, but this is an issue that I've been going through is perimenopause. And I didn't think that I was old enough to go through it, but I am. It can start anywhere from 35 and go until you hit menopause, and menopause could be at any time. This is going to sound funny, but I knew I've been done having kids for a while. My tubes were tied, burnt, and clipped, so I didn't understand the need for me getting my period at all. I was like, I don't need it. I'm not having any more kids. I don't need it. I was highly offended when I found out that when they tied my tubes, I was still going to get my period. I was like, oh, you got to be kidding me. But my mom went through menopause very young at 42 and I'm 42. So I was like, yes, I'm going to get it. It's going to be done. I'm over with it. I went to the doctor because like I go to bed and I wake up and sometimes I'm soaked. Like my shirt is soaked but it's cold. Like when I fall asleep, I'm freezing, but I wake up and it's night sweats, which is like a perimenopause thing. And I was like, yes, I'm so close. I went to the OB, I got all these blood tests, which by the way, I thought blood tests were free. It was like, we got a bill for like $140 for my blood tests. And I was like, what? This is different than your like annual blood test, but it is because they test for other things. And she was like, oh no, you're still in very good, like, you're still making eggs. And I was like, no, no, I don't want that. It's like, how do we stop that? And she was like, you can't. Like, your body will do it, when it happens. And I was like, wow.
So you're still making eggs, still having your period, but you still have all the perimenopause symptoms that
Yes,
could last for what, a decade? Like
it
when do
can.
you
It,
I
so it
will say,
depends.
like, I know everybody is different, and I know you mentioned our age difference. So I'm 30, I'll be 31. So there's, what is that, 11 years difference.
Hmm.
But my parents are very young. So my mom is going to be 48 in September, and she is now going through kind of like those same things. But she actually got her period when she was 9 years old.
Oh.
Yeah, so now as an adult, she was kind of like, oh, okay, maybe because I got my period so early as a child, I will get rid of it as I'm younger. I mean, she's been done having, I mean, I'm her only child, so she was a one and done. I mean, that wasn't planned to be a one and done, but that's how it shook out. She's like, I'm over this. Like, when is it going to be done? And now she's kind of dealing with all that, but she's got a couple years on you, you know? So it's like, are you going to have to deal with that for the
So
next
that's what my
6
my doctor
years?
said. She said I'm gonna deal with it up until whenever I have it. And so, like, I looked at my mom, and she was in her 40s when she hit menopause, 42, and but then she's like, her sister was like 52, and her other sister, they were in their 50s. So it's like, I was like, I can deal with this, and it's not just like the night sweats. If it was just night sweats, I could do that because that's fine. Oh, you wake up, you're wet, you have to wash your sheets and stuff like that. Like, that's fine. But it's brain fog. I am tired all the time. As you yawn,
As
I'm
I yawn.
exhausted. I'm exhausted all the time. I forget. I literally walk into a room, and I have ADHD already, so it's like on top of, like, I'll walk into a room and be like, why am I in here? Like, and I just look around. I'm not moody, but I'm like super sensitive. Like, my feelings get hurt super easy right now. I mean, and that's
Oh,
not, I was never one of those
it's
people who,
not
like,
you.
yeah, I know. Like, when I was never one of those people, like, I never really got cramps when I got my period. I never had like PMS mood swings. My dad would probably say different. But I think that's just, I was dramatic, but I was never like,
Yeah.
oh, it's my time of the month and I'm just being a bitch. I wasn't like that. Like, that's just never been me. And now I'm just like, I'm so sensitive all the time. And like, my feelings are hurt easy. Even at work, I'm like, like, I want to cry. And it's nothing, but the brain fog is killing me because, like I said, I already struggle because with ADHD, my brain is moving like this all the time. And now I look at things, like, people tell me stuff, and in my mind, I'm like, they're talking to me, and I have no idea what they're saying to me. And
Oh
I'm
my
not going to remember
gosh.
this conversation in 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's really hard. You know, especially when you have so much going on. Like, you have a full-time job, you know, you're in corporate America, you have all of these milestones coming up with your children, you're busy, you know, you can't be in a fog like that. So it's really difficult. I always like worry about, because I have PCOS and endometriosis, and I wonder if those correlate to how your menopause journey like goes out, because my periods, I'm a crampy girl, I'm a moody girl, I get PMS, I get all of those things. The second day I get my period, I'm like on my deathbed, you know, so like I'm all of those people. So I'm like, what is menopause gonna be like? And now with you saying that it could last basically a decade.
That's what they said. That's what my OB said, or my gynecologist. I don't know. It's an OBGYN. But she's like, "Yeah, you're still making eggs. You're technically still fertile. So we don't know when this could end." And I was like, "But you can't." I was like, "My mom, 42." I was like, "I'm 42." I said, "Do you think like maybe next year?" And she was like, "No."
Yeah.
She was like, "It can go." She was like, "Some people go to menopause at 57." And I was like, and then I've talked to people who are a little bit older than me, and they're like, well, I didn't. And because, like, you're in menopause after, if you haven't hit your period, if you haven't gotten your period for a year. There was a girl that I talked to, and she said she she thought she was in menopause. 11 months, her 12th month, she got her period, and then it had to start all
No.
over again. And then she said it was regular, and that was the thing, because, like you, I have PCOS. I have
I didn't know that.
fibroids. Yeah, I have fibroids. And up until probably, I would say when we moved to Georgia, my period was never regular. So now it's like regular, and now I'm like, I wish I would skip 2 months. You know what I mean? Like if you're
Yeah.
not gonna give me menopause, just let me skip a couple months in between. I don't need it regularly. I don't, you know what I mean? I'm not like, oh God, can I be pregnant? No, I know I'm not. So I don't need it all the time. You know? It's like a
Yeah.
punishment for not being pregnant.
I know. Yeah. If you have your tubes tied, but the solution for it, getting a hysterectomy, and then I feel like it messes you up so much more. Like you're not gonna do that, so you just kind of have to deal with it. But like I always thought like a perimenopause was kind of like 2-3 years, maybe like max, like
Nope.
max. The fact that it can go on for almost 10 years is absolutely wild. That sounds miserable. And
It
like
is.
I'm glad you brought up like the other symptoms, because you hear like menopause and you immediately think like a hot flash, but it's
Right.
not just the hot flash, because sometimes that is like just you deal with it, but the brain fog is probably the hardest because like if you have things to do, especially like around that age, people usually are going through things where they have a lot of, their children are going through milestones like you are right now. You're doing things, you're like you're at that little kid stage normally. So you're like, I got a life. And then you're like, oh wait, I like don't know what's going on.
Yeah. And then the other thing is like, so, a girl that we used to work with, she started like I think it's like a Facebook group about perimenopause because I would say she's just a couple years older than me. She's not that much older than me. But, and the people were like, oh, have you gotten the part where like it feels like you have bugs on you, your skin gets itchy, your ear starts to itch, like you just have ringing in your ears, and then migraines. Now, I suffer with migraines, and I
Right.
noticed that I think it was like maybe 2 years ago, my migraines got so bad, and I think that's when like the perimenopause symptoms started, because that's when I started getting it takes me a while to go to the doctor. So, I've been sweating for like 2 years, but I was like, nah, whatever, it's not a big deal. But I was getting it like the day of my period. I would have the worst migraine and I would throw up. Like, so for a long time that happened, and then I got on a migraine like regimen so that I don't get those that bad. And actually, knock on wood, I haven't had a migraine. I've had headaches, but I haven't had a full blown migraine in, I would say, probably like 4 months. Like to the point where like I've thrown up. I get the headaches and sometimes they last, but they don't last more than a day. And usually my migraines. Did you hear that? That's thunder in here. Sorry.
Oh
It
my
threw me off. That was
gosh.
thunder.
That was so loud.
Yeah.
I didn't
It's
even
like,
know it was supposed to rain.
yeah. It's down by us. It's like super black and rainy. I was scared that the power might go out. So,
Oh my
um,
gosh.
yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
Glad I thought it was your stomach at first. I was like, Jessica, did you have dinner?
Excuse me. Yeah. Sorry. So,
No. Do
but
they
yeah.
offer like medicine to help with these hot flashes or like symptoms in general?
So yeah, estrogen. They give you estrogen. But then, you know me, I'm a hypochondriac as well. I was reading about estrogen. People were like, oh, when my doctor put me on estrogen, I found a lump and I ended up getting breast cancer. And I don't know that they correlate, but because people said that, now I freaked out,
Yeah.
and I was taking it
Yeah.
I took it for like, for like 2 weeks. And then I read that and I was like, oh well, I'll just wait. If it gets bad, I'll jump back on it. But if it's just night sweats, I'll be fine. You know what I mean? Like I'm
Yeah.
like, but yeah, that's what they do. They pump up your estrogen. And again, because I'm fertile, my estrogen level is normal. Like
Yeah.
I'm not lacking that. So she was like, there's really nothing we can do. You could take estrogen or whatever, estroven or whatever the medicine is called, or she's like, there's some homeopathic stuff you can do. And so like now before I go to bed, I have a spray magnesium. I put it under my armpits and on my feet, and it's supposed to help you sleep better and it's supposed to help with. So I don't know if it's working, but I did the other night. I mean, I slept wonderfully, and that's another thing. It could disrupt your sleep. You could have insomnia. You could have trouble falling asleep. You have trouble staying asleep. That is the only reason that I went to the doctor, was because for like 3 weeks, I would wake up at like 2 o'clock and I'd be like perfectly fine. Like just the other
Oh
day
no.
on Sunday into Monday, I woke up, I fell asleep at 7:30 or 8 o'clock. I was exhausted, thinking I'm going to sleep all through that. I got up at 12:30, and I was up from 12:30 for the rest of the day. I just couldn't go back to sleep.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and I'm like, this sucks. Like, it's just, it is what it is. And when she was like, I'm like, just give me a sleeping pill. Because I don't mind.
Yeah.
I'll deal with all the other symptoms, but when you already have brain fog when you can't sleep, you know what I mean? Like, it
Yeah.
can't get worse. So yeah, that's my, that's my parent. I know, it's still thunder.
Yeah, oh my God, it's so crazy. Well, I wish you the best of luck with that. I'm definitely
Thanks.
nervous because, like, I'm also done with children now, but, like, obviously I have a while to go before I have that. But I feel like maybe, is it like maybe hereditary, like how you handle it, or is it just like individually, like how your mom handled it is possibly how you will handle it?
I mean,
So,
I have to say, my mom handled. I don't remember her going through like perimenopause symptoms. Not that she would, that I would remember that. Like I was young, but I remember when she went through menopause. I remember she didn't get out of bed for like 2 weeks. It was like it hit her hard. I don't know if she was depressed. I don't know if she was sleeping the whole 2 weeks. And my dad was like, "Well, I guess we're just making dinner." You know what I mean? It took a toll on her. But my mom is very different than me. I would say she's stronger than me. I would say she never let a lot of things, like she didn't show a lot of like emotion. And I'm not gonna lie, I thought she was dying. I really needed to make sure that she wasn't dying because she never stayed in bed that long. And
yeah.
then after, as I got older, when she told me about it, she said it was just menopause. She's like, it was like, she was sad, she was tired, and it just hit her. And then after 2 weeks, she was fine. She got out of bed and she was my mom again.
I hope that you don't have to go through this though for like the next 6 years or something, because that's crazy.
I'll cry. I'll cry. I'll cry.
Or at least it like goes away. Maybe it just like lasts a year, and then like it goes away for a year, and then maybe it's like an on and off, or that's doable.
That would be
And
cool.
then yeah, like or maybe every 6 months. Same thing. Same thing.
So I am super excited because we did get one submission for Wife Wisdom.
Yay!
And the funny thing was, it was from a guy.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
And this was,
so
it wasn't through our Instagram, it was like via email.
it was
I
through
think
the
you
email,
said?
yeah, through our email account. So I'm going to read it and
I
then we
haven't
can
heard
give
this, so
our.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, I know. And then I was thinking that while we feel that we give great advice, and that's why we're doing this, if our listeners have advice, maybe they can just like throw it in like a comment when we share it.
Yeah.
So it said, "Hey ladies, I hope you're doing well. I've been sitting with something for a while and could really use your perspective. It's about my marriage and how to approach a sensitive conversation with my wife. We have a 3-year-old son, and before he was born, we talked about having 3 kids. But since he was born, I've noticed some big changes on how she handles parenting, how she seems to feel about expanding our family. She's incredibly protective. She doesn't let anyone babysit him. She only leaves me with him for maybe 30 minutes at a time. They co-sleep every night, and honestly, I feel like there's very little space for just the 2 of us anymore. We also haven't been very physically intimate for a while, and when we are, she's asked me to use a condom, which felt like a subtle sign that another child isn't something she wants right now. The thing is, I really want at least one more kid. I love being a dad, and I've always pictured us having a slightly bigger family. I don't want to pressure her, and I absolutely respect if she feels differently now. But I also don't know how to even start the conversation without making her feel cornered or misunderstood. I just want to be part of the decision and not left wondering. Do you have any advice on how I can approach this with care and clarity? I'd really appreciate your thoughts."
Wow, there was a lot in there. Well,
There was.
thank you.
Well,
Thank you, sir, for sharing with us.
Yes.
So, wow, that was a lot.
It was.
So I'll start with the beginning because I started taking some notes of like some things. With the protectiveness, I feel like I was very protective with my son. And once he got to about 3, I'd say, I started letting go. And oh my God, was I so much happier. I felt like I was able to enjoy things and like not always have to be like, oh my God, what's going on? Or what is he doing? Or, like your wife trusted you. She married you. She decided to have children with you. Like, she should be able to trust you. My thing is, like, what did you do for her not to trust you? Or did you do anything? Maybe you didn't. And maybe she's like dealing with some reason as to why she cannot trust you. You know, that's my thing. What's your perspective, like, on the
that one
protectiveness?
I feel like, I think, like you said, when you're a first time parent, I think you do become overprotective. I also feel that you went to, what did you do not for her not to trust you? Sometimes I don't know that it's so much no trust. I also look at it as it could be she wants to have control of the way the baby is being raised at all times. And maybe she's not okay with letting go of that control and letting you take the rein, or letting the dad take the reins, as, you know what I mean? You know how, like, when you have a baby and you get into a rhythm, and it's like the way you change a diaper, and then you watch your husband change a diaper for the first time, and you're like, there's no way, this is wrong.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And you feel like, nope, I do it the best, I'm going to continue to do it. So I think, like, that's where I win. I don't know that it's she doesn't trust. I think it's if she's with the baby, and he did not put if he didn't put if she has a job or if she is a stay-at-home mom. Because if she's a stay-at-home mom, she's with that baby all the time. So she could feel like the way that I'm doing it is the way that I want it, and he's not going to do it that way.
That's a good point, is asking whether or not she is a stay-at-home mom. Because if she is not a stay-at-home mom and she's bringing the baby to, let's say, I don't even want to say a baby, he's 3, this toddler, to a daycare, then obviously she's letting go. So if she could do that in that regard with, you know, a stranger, she should be able to do it with anybody else, like an in-law, her parents, his parents, a friend, you know, a well scouted out babysitter, to like have a date night or something. She has to, that's the biggest thing. It's like she has to let go. Now, what does he do though to let her let go? That's a hard conversation, but I feel like it just has to be done, because going to the next 2 parts of co-sleeping and intimacy, you're losing that. I know co-sleeping is very controversial. Personally, big no from me and my husband. We did not do that with either of our children. We did a sleep training, but like, you know how there's people that like cry it out, and our children did not cry like for more than like 20 minutes. I would say, like, my son was a great sleeper, or so we thought, and then my daughter came around and she was like sleeping through the night at like 2 months old, and sorry to humble brag, she was. But if you're co-sleeping, like, when do you have time for your spouse? When do you have that together time, that quality time? Because then your bedtime becomes, what, 7:30 every night, and you can't unwind with your partner through the day. Like, there's nothing better than when we put down the kids and we fall into each other, because we were like, oh my God, they were animals today, you know, like, I couldn't take them, thank God they're up, you know, just like one of those days. Like, you need that. What if you have one of those days and you can't do that with your partner?
Right.
So that's my opinion on that, and then I want to hear yours, and then we'll try to give some advice.
We sleep trained, and with my oldest daughter, she cried. Like, she cried. I cried, she cried, but we sleep trained at 6 months. And with my younger one, she was a better sleeper. Like, I didn't have to worry about it. We never co-slept. It was for that one reason. One, because we knew that if they were in the bed with us, then there would be no intimacy. There would be no, like, staying up and watching movies or
Quality
just anything.
time.
Yeah. But what we did do was when our kids were, even when they were little, once they transitioned into a big girl bed, their bed was a queen size bed. So if they were sick, one of us could go sleep with them. You know what I mean? Like, so if they needed us, we were there, but we didn't want it in our bed just because we didn't want that precedent. So
he wants another kid, and now he's second guessing whether or not she wants more.
Well, there's no intimacy, so they're not. Yeah. She's making, if she has him wearing a condom, then there's no second child happening, let alone third.
So I think the advice here is, there's like 2 options I'm going to give here from my perspective. So one is a little more expensive and might be a little more difficult, but really try to convince her to go on a trip. Just you two. Leave your 3-year-old. It doesn't have to be like out of the country. It could literally be like a 3-hour trip. Go on a trip, 2 nights, the two of you, and wine and dine her and be like, I love the mother that you are and that what you've done for our son. And, you know, put your feelings out there and be like, I loved this weekend with you. I wish we had more quality time. I feel like because of the co-sleeping, I'm not getting that time with you. And kind of like, I feel like the issue that sometimes men have is they bring these topics in an aggressive state, you know, and that's like don't come at me like that. And I feel like that turns them, like, women off. So if you come at it with like an emotional, sensitive side, as to be like, I love you and I want to spend time with you and I want to do this again with you, do this all over again with you, but like, you really need to, like, I'm not saying you are, but don't be scared of your wife. Like, you know, you need to have that open communication. Or just so literally funny. Just sit down on the couch and be like, listen, we need to talk, is my other.
That was mine. You know? That was where I was going. I'm more of a rip the Band-Aid off. Like, think about their feelings, because I know that 3 years in, she's probably not postpartum anymore, but I think about, like, I remember when you had your son, I remember you were like, I just can't imagine loving another child the way that I love him, right? And maybe that's where she's thinking, but there is room to love another child. You know what I mean? Absolutely. Like, that could be a thought, but I think that, thank you for sending us the question, but I feel like just if you guys have a good relationship, and I don't know how long they've been married before they had kids or how that works, but
oh my God, that was a loud one.
Yeah. I don't know if they were married before, you know, how long they were married before they had kids, but just sit her down and be like, be honest with me. Do you want to have another child? I would like to have another child. I understand that you're co-sleeping. We haven't been intimate. Like you said, maybe take a trip, a weekend trip. I wouldn't even say 3 hours away. If you live in like a small suburb, maybe just go to the city for 2 nights. Like, that way you're not far away, so she's not having anxiety. But just be honest and just talk to her, because the thing is she controls if she's gonna have another kid.
Yes.
But at least she'll know. And if you're not, he said in the email, I wouldn't be mad if we just have one. I just want to feel part of that choice. That's what you say to her. If that's what you want, that's what you want. We only have one kid. That's fine. But I want to make the decision with you. I would even talk about, like you said, I feel like you don't trust me to be alone with our own child. Like, you know, if you won't leave me with him for more than 30 minutes, I feel that I'm a good dad. Am I doing something wrong? Like, open. You have to be, if you've been thinking about this, your child's 3 and you haven't brought it up yet, I think maybe there needs to be some communication going on with you guys.
Absolutely. And I think how I presented, how you present, there are 2 good options, because the way you said it, I feel like as much as like we are so alike, I feel like in the way we love and we receive love is very different. Yes. Because like I would never be able to receive love from like your husband and vice versa, because they just love differently, or not even that. Honestly, I feel like they do, but my husband has to flex to me because I'm a very sensitive person. I need that, like, hey, I love you, you know, and I need that like sweetness to be brought to me, rather than like, listen, I need X, Y, and Z, and like we're a team, kind of like I need a sugar coat, you know. That's how I am. So obviously, you know your wife best, and do either one. But you know, it's always nice to be like wined and dined, and then, you know,
it is.
It's like a reminder too of like, look what we're missing, because you're not missing out because you had children, or a child rather. You're not missing out because you had a child. You're missing out because you're not allowing yourself to do this. Maybe they don't have family, I don't know, but if they do, and you can always find a babysitter at care.com. You know, there's so many Facebook groups, you know, that local people can suggest and have so many background checks and things like that. But I totally understand it. So if you do have family, there should really be no reason as to why you're not letting yourself go out more.
Yep, I agree. I think that 3 years is a little too long. You probably should have said something a little sooner.
And it gives you a break, and it'll make, not saying that she's unhappy, but it'll give you, it'll make you better. Like, promise.
Yes.
It'll like
right.
make you a little more
even to
sane.
go and get a massage. Like let her go for an hour and get a massage. You know what I mean? Like maybe if you have to ease her into it that way, like you said, wine and dine, but maybe just like pamper her a little bit where she has to go for an hour to get a massage. And then when she comes back feeling good, then you have the conversation with her. Like butter up a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I hope everything works out. And, I hope if she wants another child, they do. So best of luck to you. But be open with your feelings.
Okay. Well, with that, I hope we get a follow-up. I always want to say, let's hope you get a follow-up. Maybe we will,
more
maybe
submissions.
we won't. But and more submissions if you thought. And like I said, if you have a different opinion, pop it in the comments. Like maybe we're 100% wrong and you think there's a better way to do it, let us know. So now let's move on because I've been so excited to talk to you about it. I can't wait. You watched it, and what did you think of the last episode?
So when you texted me, you were like, you're going to laugh and you're going to cry. And I'm a crier. I think this is a perimenopause thing. I teared up for sure. Like when Abby was singing to David. And honestly, like, she has a great voice.
A great voice.
My husband and I were like, whoa, she sounds great. Like, we were really impressed. That was the only time where I got really, like, a little choked up, but I did not cry. But I literally thought she was going to propose to him. Like, I literally thought she was going to get down on her knee the way they were, like, teeing it up. But honestly, that was so beautiful. I thought it was so nice. The both of them, they're so sweet. But I did laugh a lot with all the kissing from Madison and Tyler especially. Holy.
Madison's dad was my absolute favorite. He was like...
And he's like, alrighty. Okay.
The mom's like, I'm going to get the hose.
Oh my God. The dad, her dad was so funny. I was dying. I felt uncomfortable watching it.
Me too.
On my couch. I feel like because Tyler was trying to stick his tongue down her throat and she was just the whole time. Mm-hmm. And you just saw his his cheeks trying to get a tongue in, where I was like, this is so awkward in front of her parents. That's the part that
but they
really
were so
got
calm.
me.
They were so calm.
Honestly, God bless.
Because I would not have. I would have been like,
that's enough.
Separate.
Yeah. And I get what the dad said. The dad said, I would rather this than nothing, and her not being with somebody, which I totally understand. But I feel also there also needed to be hey, if you're going to be in a public setting like this, you kind of have to read the room and understand that it's maybe not appropriate. And maybe they did have this conversation after the fact, right? Because, they just didn't want to air it. That's another thing, as they were doing the interviews, when they were cutting to the, the portion where they were interviewing them, mm-hmm. I was like, ooh, I wonder if they feel like they have to be really careful with what they have to say, because what if people are judging them as a parent and right. Your child's finally happy, leave them alone, So right. I was wondering too if they were trying to be more on the forced supportive side than how they actually felt. But oh my God, it was so funny. Funny.
It was hysterical. And then, what was that? Oh, Connor and Georgie, their little first kiss. Oh.
Yeah. Oh. I do. It's funny. I really liked Connor at first, and I was unsure about Georgie, and now it's totally flipped. I feel like Connor's very dramatic, and Georgie's all right, let's go. Thank you, but let's go. It's just
calm down. Calm down.
Yeah.
Breathe.
It's okay. Breathe.
It's okay.
Yeah. So I appreciate her doing that. I thought it was really cute. James
had me rolling when he started talking about birth control for women.
Honestly, respect on his views on that point.
I know, right?
Truly. But I don't know, it was just
It's like, where
And
did that come from?
that's Jessica, that's literally what I said to my husband. I said,
You gotta just wait it out.
that was a big one. That was bigger than the last one I said was a big one.
Okay.
I literally said to my husband, why is he bringing this up? Because he's like, I don't know if it's appropriate to be talking about this in front of women. I'm like, you're the one who brought it up. Literally nobody else is bringing this up.
When his friend was like, 10 minutes, you're the man.
30 minutes, he said.
30 minutes, you're the man. And I was like, okay.
Yeah, I was like, oh my gosh. But did that girl, Shelly, was she also on the spectrum or no?
I don't know. I honestly don't know.
Jim?
I don't know if Shelly is, because I thought he said he met Shelly on Instagram, so I don't know. I don't think she was one of, like, the dates that they gave. And I have to say that this isn't something that I thought about, but there are many people who are on the spectrum that are married to people who are not on the spectrum. So I kind of was, as, like, I was watching it, I was like, they don't have to give them people on the spectrum.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, there are, what is it? Neurotypical. That's what it is. So neurotypical people who marry people on the spectrum, and vice versa. So I was like, it kind of bothered me that all of the people, I was like, you guys can't, like, you know what I mean? Because that's not what it is in, like, real life. Like, in real life, there are people who do have autism that get together, and there are people who don't have autism and they get with somebody who is just a neurotypical person that, you know. So I don't know because we only met her in that last episode.
Yeah, gotcha.
But when he made out with her, I was like,
oh my gosh.
It was like attacked her face.
And Perry and Tina's first kiss was so awkward. The double arms.
But she was so, like I said, Perry's so funny because I love the way she says her name. And then, like, when when she kissed her over the bridge, I was like, oh, she got her wish to come true.
Yeah.
And I loved when she was like, oh, that was better than kissing a boy.
Oh my God.
I was like, okay.
When she was like, I kissed a girl and I liked it kind of deal. Yeah. Or she did say that.
She did. It was cute. I did like, my favorite part was when he was like, I have to ask your permission. When Tyler asked. God. And I know what the dad thought. He better not be asking to marry.
I thought he was going to ask to marry her. I literally was like, no, he's not doing this. He's not doing this right now. There's no way he's doing this. Please don't do this. Please don't. And then he's like, can I take her to Universal? I was like.
The mom was like, yes. Because, in her mind, she was probably thinking the same thing. Because I know when I watched it, I was like, is he?
I literally was in a panic. I was like, please don't do this to yourself.
I'm going to say, though, what a hell of a gift giver.
I know, right? But then I was like, why is he taking her to Universal? Like, why is he asking? But then I realized, like, they're kind of in Tampa. It's a little bit of a far drive. So I totally get, like, why he did that. And I thought that was really, really sweet and really, like, respectful.
Gentlemanly of him, so.
Yeah.
But, but Abby and David made me cry. David kills me with his... When he was pretending to drink, and he was like, you're right, it is two bubbly, sweet cheeks. And then he's like, I was pretending I didn't drink any.
That was so funny. And when we saw David drinking the milk, my husband was like, is he drinking milk? And we were dying. Because, like I said, we don't know.
And then she sang about his milk.
I know. And because we don't know Abby and David, since we've only watched this one season, we don't know them too much. So we didn't know he was a milk drinker, you know, like that. But I thought it was so funny. Everything was so cute. I really hope that they do a season 4 and, like, they get engaged and they, like, go to their wedding and plan all that. Like,
oh my God, I will cry like a baby.
How do you feel about Danny and Adon breaking up?
That broke my heart too. I'm not gonna lie, I cried then too.
Okay.
I cried because, you know what? You remember your first heartbreak? Like, I feel like she had it, and it bothered me. I know that he has autism, so he probably emotes very differently than. But it didn't look like he cared at all. And again,
I thought he cared.
No, he kept going. And I just was like, is he trying to squeeze out a tear so that he's like,
Yeah.
or is he just not emoting because of his autism? And that could be it too. But it was just like, I felt like he would have done it if he didn't talk to his dad, because he was talking about like, oh, I could do it if we're safe. You know what I mean? And they'd been
Yeah,
together
yeah,
for a
yeah.
year and stuff. And then when the dad talked to him, and
That's
then
true.
it also didn't help. And I grew up Catholic. But Virgin
Same.
Mary was sitting like right there watching him talk on the phone with her. And I was like, I
Yeah,
can't
I
talk
mean,
about sex in front of Virgin Mary either. So,
yeah. I mean, I feel like he definitely cared. I feel like that's just not him, because you can see that his
right.
emotions didn't peak with happiness either. So he kind of always seemed like this, no matter whether he was happy or he was sad or any kind of state that he was feeling. So I feel like he definitely was sad, but I feel like he also saw it coming, because when he said he wasn't okay with having sex before marriage and he saw her reaction, I feel like he kind of knew that this was going to happen if he didn't give in, because she kind of made it clear, like, this is what I
I want to have
want.
sex.
Yeah, and this is how we're going to move forward. I totally get where she's coming from, but at the same time, let's think about if a guy was Danny and said, like,
Yes, I agree
the,
100%.
it would
We
be,
can't push people to have. And she said
yeah,
that to him. She was like, I respect your decision. We just can't be together because of
yeah.
that. And you're right. If it was a guy, it
I
would
feel
be the
like
same thing. You wouldn't want that.
yeah, and I feel like if it was a guy, that this whole thing would have been taken very differently, and people would have been so much harder on him, be like, "Oh my God, he just wants, one
Right.
thing," and I feel like, not that Danny should get it, and not that the guy should either, but I
Right.
feel like Danny didn't get any like hate. Like I said, she doesn't deserve
No.
it, but I just feel like if the roles were reversed, it would be a different
It would be a whole
conversation.
different conversation. You're right. I never even
Yeah.
thought of that. I just looked at it as just heartbreak for her. Like, she was so heartbroken when she started crying. My heart broke for her. And I was like, she's going to find somebody.
Yeah. And then Tanner and Callie, the ending said that they didn't like form a spark or anything though, but they just remained friends or whatever. They're like cute together, but like,
They were.
I do see more of like a friendship. Rather, I did think it was so funny when he was like, "You're smoking hot." Like, I thought that was so funny, and I bet that felt like so good for her, because she said that was the first time. So I thought that was so cute.
It was. I loved it. I think they're cute together, but like you said,
Yeah.
they're good as friends. But I think Kelly is hysterical. She's just, me, I thought the butt quack, I was laughing. And that's the
Oh
second
my
time he
God.
told it, because he told it in season 2, and I laughed just as hard the second time. My daughter looked at me and was like, it's not that funny. And I was
Oh
like,
my God.
whatever. It was
Especially
cute.
the second time around.
No, I like a good dad joke, so I thought
Yeah.
it was funny. But like I said, I think it ended well. I liked the recap at the end, and I hope that we see them. I do follow them, so I know Georgie and Connor are still together. Danny has another boyfriend. They seem super happy together, and Abby and David are still together. They're not
Yeah.
engaged, but they're still together. And I feel like even
Yeah.
if they got engaged, they wouldn't tell us, because it would be on if they're going to do another show, then it'll be on that.
Yeah, and they absolutely should do another show, like another
Yeah.
season rather. So good.
Right. I'm so happy you finished it, and now we've chit chatted about it. How exciting! So I'm going to ask you first what your pop culture thing
So I
was.
know it's probably your least favorite thing to talk about, but I have to talk about the Kardashians. So Khloe Kardashian is coming out with protein popcorn. Now I love popcorn. That is like my snack of choice. I love Skinny Pop specifically. So, low calories and all of that. So I'm like super interested in the popcorn. It's called Cloud, and it has 7 grams of protein, and it's made with 0 seed oils, which is like really big, because apparently like seed oil is really bad for you. Like, so it's doing no seed oil, no like GMO, all like real fresh ingredients, which is like everybody's wants that right now. So I'm really hoping that this is really good, like, because also like you can't just like put out a food and like have it meet all these requirements then taste like cardboard, so I hope it's good. But like, Chloe's one of us. Like, she's she's like a fat girl at heart, you know?
Yes.
So, like, I think that it'll be good. I also just don't want it to be expensive, like super expensive. Because if it's expensive, I'll just buy Skinny Pop. It's not that I don't really care, you know? But also on the train of Khloe, she also announced that she is, I guess, producing another reality show called Calabasas Behind the Gates, so Calabasas obviously is like a town in, well, I don't even know if it's a town. It's a gated community in California. So there's a lot of other celebrities. Like, I'm pretty sure like Drake lives there, and not that he's going to be on the show, but there's other wealthy people who they're going to be following on this show. So, and you know, like, this is like up my alley. I don't find this interesting. I think this is a dumb idea. Nobody wants to follow unrealistic people. Out of touch, probably. Right. It's like, I don't know. I just don't find this being successful. So, hopefully, like, it does well for Khloe's sake. If not, she can lean back on this popcorn business. Have you ever heard of Vanderpump Rules?
Yes.
Okay. Have you ever watched?
No. I did. I've watched 3 episodes. I'm not gonna lie. I watched 3 episodes because for some reason, even though I've never watched it in my life, the
Scandal.
the Ariana thing.
Yeah.
Like when Ariana was going through the breakup and then they were living in the house together. I think I watched like 3 episodes of that, and then I know that they have like a Vanderpump or something called like the suburbs, or I don't know.
The Valley.
The Valley. Yeah. There we go. I was invested in Jax and Brittany because I wanted Brittany to leave Jax so much. Just because I think he's a horrible person. But I know nothing. Like when I tell you I know nothing, I just
no. That's like that's exactly what I wanted to know, because what I was gonna say is Vanderpump, like, they hired literally waiters and waitresses, bartenders, like nobodies, and then like they put them on reality TV, and they were young people that were like just trying to make a buck and like would do anything they could to be successful in their job, their reality show, and they just didn't care. They didn't give an F about anything, and they just like did anything they could to make good TV. I don't think these wealthy people that are going to be on Calabasas like are going to be putting their reputation on the line. And with the show The Valley, so now it's all a bunch of, I don't want to say nobodies, but like they're not wealthy enough for like us and everyday folk to care about. Like, you say Kim Kardashian, everybody knows. You say like, I don't know, even like Jordan Wood, somebody like, you know, people know like certain people. You don't know who, like, I don't even know one of their names. You don't know who Nina, I don't even know her last name. You know, like, you don't know these people. So it's like they are like just putting all their dirty laundry out there. They are trying to make good TV. They are trying to one up and get more airtime and more higher paycheck. I just don't see these people that are already wealthy, because they obviously are, because they're living in Calabasas, putting themselves out there like that, and it's going to be like a boring TV show.
Yeah, it could be.
So hopefully this popcorn does better than this TV show, because I'm actually more interested in the popcorn.
I'm not gonna lie. If I'm gonna support any Kardashian, it's gonna be Khloe. She's my favorite. So I would even try her popcorn. So my pop news is Shannon Sharp is a ESPN commentator, and he just got sued for sexual assault charges, I guess, on this girl. And apparently, it came out like that they had a relationship for a while. Now, the thing that I am fascinated about is he's 56 now. Okay. At the time that he started messing with this girl, he was maybe 54. She was 19. Right? Apparently she's, from what I heard allegedly, because I don't want to say that I know that this is true, because I've just heard like bits and pieces. I haven't like actually read about it, but she's an OnlyFans model, maybe, is what I've heard. So allegedly.
Okay.
And they were talking and they were sleeping together, and then she said at some point the sleeping together they did like weird race play and like a lot of kinky stuff. And again, I'm not kink shaming. I don't care what you do in the bedroom. It's your business. But apparently it got a little too rough, and she's saying it turned into rape. And he tried to, this is what I found fascinating. I feel like there's something that's really bad that's going to come out, because apparently he offered to pay her $10 million to squash it. And she said no. She's suing for $50 million. Alyssa, there has to be some other stuff. Now, I've read some of the texts, and whoa, baby. It's some ugly stuff. It's
I'm
some
gonna have
ugly
to look
stuff.
into this.
You're gonna have to, because, and I think the thing that grosses me out the most is that, I mean, dude, I think if it's a woman doing it with men, if it's a man doing it with a woman, there is nothing that a 54-year-old has in common with a 19-year-old. There's nothing. You know what I mean? Like, to me, you owe her $10 million just because of that. Because you're 54
Yeah.
and you were trying to get with her at 19. Like, I think it's gross. Same thing with Leonardo DiCaprio. You don't need to be with somebody that young. There is absolutely nothing. My daughter is going to be 18 in June. There is nothing that we have in common. Even trying to be a cool mom, I have nothing in common.
The age gap thing is very, I mean, my husband and I are 5 years apart, and I feel like that's, I mean, I do like older men, but like, I mean, 5 years. Normally, like what's the age difference between your husband, a year or two?
It's like 18 months, but I say 2 years.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's like a lot of people are like that though, and you know, my husband and I are 5 years apart. But the thing that I can't do, the age gap, it gives me the ick, is because my dad is 49. So like, it gives me the ick. Like, oh my gosh, I remember when I was in high school, and it was probably like freshman year, and we were in health class, and they were like, okay, your assignment is you have to go and ask your dad and make sure that he had his prostate checked. And so
Your
I
dad
go
was
home.
probably like 24.
My dad was like, I'm 35. I don't need my prostate checked. And I was like, so I go to school the next day, and I'm like, my dad said he's too young to have his prostate checked because he's only like 35. And they were like, oh, your dad's 35? And I'm like, yeah. And they were like, okay, well, in 5 years, he needs to go check, you know? And I'm like, okay. So the age gap thing, I cannot do, because then I'm like, oh, you're close to my dad. Like,
Right.
it gives me the ick. But
I mean, I like older guys. Like, I look at older guys. I mean, I have a crush on Don Johnson, and he's in his 70s. But would I ever sleep with him? Absolutely not, because like you said, he's older than my dad.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I like him from afar, but if he was ever like, come over here, I'd be like, oh, like, you know what I mean? Like, oh, you're old. You know what I mean? Like, you might have crepey skin or something. I don't know.
That is so
you know what I mean? Like, it's weird. Like, you know, like when you're young, age doesn't,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, when you're young, age isn't a thing. But it's like, once you get to like, now if you just want to have sex, okay, I get like the age thing isn't bothering you, but you can't sit up here and be like, I just can't believe that you're having rational conversations with somebody whose frontal lobe is informed. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And the hush money thing is like a bad look. Hate to get into this topic, but like, you know, the P. Diddy stuff, and then something with Jay-Z, and the girl tried suing Jay-Z, and no hush money was given.
Right.
So
Because
he
didn't do it.
Yeah, because he's like, I didn't do it. But so I'm like, okay, that's the route to take. Like, even if, like, so I didn't really keep up with the whole Jay-Z thing. But
They dropped it. But that's the thing. So Shannon Sharp's, the girl that's fighting against Shannon Sharp, her lawyer is the same lawyer that the girl used to get like over Jay-Z.
The Busby guy.
Yeah. The Busby guy, yes. Yep.
Yes.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's her lawyer.
I feel like if you really didn't have something to hide, you would do what, Jay-Z did. I mean, look at Cassie, though. Look what started this whole thing with Cassie I mean, she did accept money, but it was a while. And honestly, I think at that point, she just wanted to move on with her life. She was been going through so much. She got, married to somebody, had babies and whatnot. She's like, I'm so over this. And now knowing what she went through is like absolutely wild, and I get it. But I mean, the $10 million is a bad, bad, bad look.
Especially if she didn't take it. I feel like even if somebody offered me $10 million, I would take it. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'd be like, okay, I'll shut up. But you have to have something more if you think that $50 million is going to be, like, nope, I'm still going to go. You have to have something.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know. We'll see how that goes. But
yeah, I'm curious to how this is going to play out. And, well, thanks for bringing that to my attention because I did not know about that. And now, when we're done, I'm definitely going to go look that up because I need to see what these text messages. That's our episode. Thank you guys for listening, and stay tuned for episode 5, which, like I said, is our big one because we've never done more than 4 episodes. So
yay.
We're looking forward to it. So thank you.
Thank you. Bye.